Okay, welcome everyone to the Freedom Family Call. I'm really excited. So, um, just a couple little announcements I want to just say because I feel like this is something I wanted to share at the beginning, and then I'm really, really pumped about our speaker tonight. So, for everyone, we have time. Like, we still have time. August is not here yet. There's a tendency at the end of the month, if you haven't hit your goal, to be like, well, let's wait till the next month. But I want to encourage you, if you have not blessed someone with a promo code, do it. If you have people that have been thinking about Morning Meltdown 100, talk to them about it. It starts on Monday, and we're going to be doing it in the groups. And we're also doing our 100 steps, which I'm going to talk about on the team page tomorrow. But check out the PDF that Elizabeth put together for us to use. So if coaches, if your challengers are not doing Morning Meltdown 100, they can still commit to 100 of either their nutrition program or a workout that you can help them choose. Sorry, he's playing checkers right here. Or Shakeology. So don't give up yet. Like, finish strong and don't have the mindset that well, I should just wait and then I'll do good in August. No, there's plenty of people to help. And so the $10 promo codes are for any challenge practice, $140 or more, so not the completion packs. But I just wanted to put that little plug in. And if you need help, to reach out in the group, especially for those of you that have been doing the Emerald push, keep using that thread and asking questions. I'm really proud of those of you who have been reaching out and starting conversations. Rebecca Huff got her Emerald back today. Congratulations, Rebecca. Allison Batter is super close. So just know the key to it, and I'm going to tie this into welcoming Emily to be here tonight. The key to this whole process, the key is literally throwing every Lego on the floor. It's not a Lego. They're these ginormous, they look like Oreo checkers. Dude, hi. Let me put them in my lap. Hold on. Okay. Is not stopping. The key is not stopping. The key is consistency. The key is outlasting the limiting beliefs in our head. And so I've known Emily for a while, for a little season. We were in the 5 a.m. club, weren't we, back in the day for a little bit? When we would get up at 5 in the morning in Power Hour with Mandy, Martin, and Gretchen for a season. And then I had another baby, and that season kind of faded. But I was so pumped when Rebecca shared that she had reached her goal and was going to be leaving her preschool position to come to be able to stay home with her kiddos. And I reached out to her immediately and just said, will you share your story? Because so many times we hear just the end of a story, but not the whole beginning. And so we don't connect to it like we can. And I love that I've watched her. I've met her. I got to meet her before our cruise, when Sarah and I cruised, and just to get to know her through events and journey with her, and to see her she actually wrote out what she's going to share tonight. I was so excited reading through it, because it's not always easy, but there's lessons to be learned. And she has some really, really awesome lessons to share with y'all tonight. So whether you're a new coach or a coach digging back in or a coach who's been trucking along all the way, you have something to learn from tonight. So my challenge to you is to take good notes, ask questions in the chat, be open to what's one thing from this call that can help you in your business move forward. Yeah. So sorry. So I'm super pumped. I completely forgot to go, hey, can you send me a little intro to about you for a bio? So I'm going to let you introduce yourself before I have it in my head from reading, but I don't want to botch it up. But I just feel like there is something about stories. If you ever go to an event with me, or a girl tell you, and people walk in the room, I'm like, oh, that's so-and-so, and that's their story. And I connect with stories. People connect with stories. When you're helping others, if you don't think your story is for them, Emily's story might be for them. Sarah's story, Rebecca's story, Elizabeth's. So we need to know one another's stories and take lessons from them. So I'm going to let you take over, girl. I'm excited.
Okay. Well, hello, guys, and thank you. Thank you, Kelly, for having me. It's funny that you said stories, because for so long I didn't really feel like I had a story. And 4 years in, I can look back at my journey and I can see it clear. But sometimes when you're going through those ruts, you don't really know what your story is. And so that's a lot of mine. My coaching journey has been quite a roller coaster. So I made lots of notes, and I'm kind of nervous, so forgive me if I'm looking down reading a little bit, because I do feel like there's lots of good little nuggets in here, and I don't want to miss anything. But when Kelly asked me to do this, my initial response was to say, hell no, this scares the crap out of me. But I've been working on fear this year, and I knew that was fear telling me no, because public speaking is not my favorite thing. And so I immediately told her yes. And I said, I'm telling you yes so that I do not come up with an excuse to tell you no. So just know that if you have something that scares you and is holding you back, just face it and do it. So let's see a little bit about me. I have been a coach for 4 years, and I am a mom of 3 kids. They are going into 7th grade, 4th grade, and a kindergartner. And I married my not so high school sweetheart. We got together after high school. And he travels often, so I often play the single mom game during the week, and he's home on the weekends. My 2 older girls are competitive swimmers, so I feel like I live 2 lives, one before while the kids are in school, and then one at the pool. That takes up a lot of my free time on the weekends. And what else do I want to tell you about me? I live in Florida. I've lived in Florida the majority of my life. I have a golden doodle, and I am a non-runner who has found a love for half marathons. So previously I went to college for nursing. I have a bachelor's in nursing, and I've been on a 5-year break. I don't really plan to go back, but that is a part of me, a part of my personality. I'm a pearl. I love to take care of people. I'm kind of a people pleaser. And I'm a former preschool teacher. So anyway, do you want me to just keep rolling, Kelly? Okay. So I want to start with my coaching story, and I'm going to finish up with some note-taking points at the end. So I'll tell you whenever I get to there, but I feel like my points kind of tie into my story. So I found coaching when I was coming out of the lowest point of my life ever. My husband and I had been separated for like 7 months. My youngest was an infant during that time, and I lost all self-worth. I had no self-confidence. If you look at me, I actually just made a post on my Instagram stories, and it was a before and after, and the before picture was right when I started, and you can just see the empty girl there. That after picture, I had actually gained 15 pounds. So when you have people who have a goal to gain weight, it's possible, and you can always reach out to me. I am happy to share my story. It's just about as hard as it is to lose weight. So don't think that everyone looks at that as the blessing. It's actually something I've struggled with my whole life. So anyway, 7 months of separation, and we kept getting God nudges that our marriage was worth fighting for. And it was totally out of faith that I decided to pack up my kids, move back to be with my husband. It was 6 hours away from where I was living with my family. And that's when this business fell in my lap, thanks to my coach, Rebecca. I moved to this brand new town. I didn't know anybody. And I saw this girl outside every day with her then 4 kids. And she was always playing on her laptop, and her kids were running around. And I thought, okay, I'm going to get the courage. She doesn't know me. Nobody here knows me. I'm going to get the courage to go and say hi and introduce myself. So I did. And my kids had instant friends. And she was my first friend that I met here. And so I watched her for a while, and I noticed that she was in shape. And so I asked her what gym she goes to, and she laughed in my face. She was kind, but she did laugh at me, and she said, I don't have time for gym. I haven't been to one of those in years. And she was wearing her wear and share. I'm actually wearing mine today, but it said Beachbody Coach on it. And I laughed back at her and said, oh, you're one of those Beachbody coaches. And I really didn't even know what that meant. But I had just heard the term, and I was that gym rat who didn't need anything from home. So Fast forward a few months, and she had tried to connect with me on Facebook, and I said, oh, I turned that off and deleted all my friends. And later she told me that she had kind of written me off as like a potential for being a coach because I had completely downed everything that she was trying to do to connect with me. But I was not loving the gym that I found. My son kept getting sick there. I didn't have time to go with 3 kids, and I started stalking her on Facebook. This is one of my points later, so remember that. I stalked her for a couple of weeks and got the courage to finally say, okay, I need your help. What are you doing? And she hooked me up with 21 Day Fix, and I loved it. And then after I signed up, she told me about coaching, and because I wasn't working at the time, I had just quit my nursing job. I needed a way to save money and kind of justify doing this to my husband so I could get a good deal. And I said, yes, teach me how to pay for my Shakeology. So I went from that write-off coach to then the coach that we all hope that we sign. She told me what to do to pay for my Shakeology. She said, hit Success Club. So I did it my first month. That was a success starter. I hit Success Club my first 10 months. I finally got to Emerald and everything was going good. I was making good pay, and then life happened. I think we moved and Rebecca moved, and life's just a roller coaster. And when that move happened and all that change, I just didn't handle it well. And I found myself focusing on the shiny object and not the actual purpose of what I was doing, which was helping people. So for a couple years, my business went up and down. I'm trying to find where I am on my notes so I don't forget anything. My business went up and down, and I felt like I was like failing at every avenue of my life. I felt like I was just giving half of myself to my family, half of myself to my business. I was still showing up and working out every day, but I didn't feel like I had anything to share on social media. And then I felt like if I'm feeling like I'm half-assing everything, how am I going to help other people? So my social media was kind of reflective of that when I was posting. But I knew I never wanted to quit being a coach. I knew I never wanted to quit Beachbody because it had taught me so much already. I was healing my insides. I was healing my emotions, my marriage, and I was taking care of my body. So enter 80-day obsession, and I committed to that fully. I followed the time nutrition plan fully. I also committed to running a half marathon, and when that program ended, I was going on my first Success Club trip to Mexico. So I had all this motivation to really stick to it, and I did, and I got amazing results. That's when I gained 10 of the 15 pounds that I have gained total. But I still didn't really have the fire back in me to run my business after I got to Mexico. It was an amazing trip, and I think everyone should go on them, but it didn't light the fire that I wanted. But I'm thinking now it's because in the middle of all those big commitments, I also took on a teaching job. I was not a teacher, no background as a teacher. So now I have 3 kids all in school. I'm committed to my fitness, committed to running a marathon. If you guys have ever run a race, it's time consuming to train. And I was working, but I was failing financially. We weren't juggling our money well. I was making plenty of money with Beachbody prior, but I wasn't telling it where to go. Then my money started to decline as my focus dropped. So I saw the teaching job as, okay, I just need the $700 a month to keep my kids in swimming. That was my initial goal in the beginning. Competitive sports is expensive. So teaching did that, and I just put coaching on the back burner. And fast forward, another year went by, and I saw all my friends at Summit last summer, and I had my ticket to go, but I couldn't afford the plane ticket. I couldn't afford the hotel. I couldn't afford the food to go. And I had to watch, and FOMO sucks, fear of missing out. I have it bad. And I vowed last summer that I wouldn't miss another summit, even if it was just to go see my friends. So December rolled around and I knew I've got to start my business back or I'm not going back to summit. Teaching was still happening, taking up all of my time, but I did finally learn how to manage my money. And I was missing the coaching opportunity, or not the opportunity, the community. And the announcement of Ultimate Portion Fix came out. And I said, I'm not going to let another release come out and not take advantage of it. If you guys aren't feeling the momentum of Morning Meltdown right now, it's insane. And I knew the momentum of 80-Day Obsession was insane, but I didn't take advantage of that. And I knew Ultimate Portion Fix. I loved it. I still love it. It changed my life. I had to get behind that. And so I looked at the 4 vital behaviors and I said, okay, what am I doing already, which was being a product of the product. I never stopped working out. I never stopped drinking my Shakeology, but I was not inviting. I was not doing the recognition. And it was because I had all this fear. I wasn't doing personal development. I felt like I was less than because I'm not a reader. I kind of have that squirrel brain and I just can't focus to read. So instead of finding a way to absorb information, I just didn't do it. And that's when I heard about Rachel Hollis and thought, okay, what can I do? I fixed how I was feeling with my family. I fixed my finances. Now I'm going to fix my business. What do I need to do first? I downloaded her book on Audible and downloaded her podcast. And every morning when I got ready for work, I listened to 15 minutes. I don't know if you guys know this, but you can speed up when people talk. So instead of talking at normal speed, you can speed it up a little bit. So I was actually getting more information than just 15 minutes because she talks kind of slow. Anyway, and it was like light bulb. And I told Rebecca, fear is what's doing this. I'm tired of letting fear hold me back. I'm done with that. And so I just kept my head down. I stopped looking at the shiny objects. Rebecca has a tracker posted in our team page, and I silently started plugging into that. And once I felt like I got the personal development routine, then I was like, okay, now I need to start beefing up my social media, start inviting, and that's where we are. Now I'm going to tell you some tips. But before then, I just want to tell you, let go of the fear. That's what I got from Rachel Hollis, and I still get. And anytime it seeps in, I just turn her on and listen to her. Because if you guys weren't at Summit, she made me cry because she's so real. And we all have a gift to help somebody, and we need to use it. And stop letting that crazy person in your brain tell you that nobody wants your help, because somebody out there can relate to you. All the pain I went through with my crazy marriage a couple years ago and being so depressed and underweight, I know that I'm not the only one who's been there. People just don't share the ugly stuff. Okay, now is where you want to take some notes. So I'm just going to talk about the 4 vital behaviors. I know we hear about it all the time, but I wanted to relate it to my story and how it's worked really since January is when I feel like I started to come back. And I have not hit Success Club every month, but I have earned Success Club points and helped people and really celebrated all the little things, even if it's a yearly bod subscription or a Shakeology sampler pack. Just turning that around. Of course, the challenge pack is super exciting, but introducing our products to people, because you don't know if they've watched you for a year or 4 years. Eventually, they're going to come around whenever they're ready. So tip number 1 is use a tracker. Beachbody has the BAT in our back office, which is great. Rebecca and our team page has one on Google Sheets. I'm sure Kelly has a tracker. I know she's very organized and loves to track. So I know that she's got a good tool for you guys too, but do it. It doesn't have to be hard. Just check off the box when you do it and move on. I have actually fallen off from using the one that Rebecca has in the team page. I need to get better about it, but I am tracking. I track in a notebook. And don't make it hard. It doesn't have to be hard. Just check it off and move forward. And if you keep doing it, you'll slowly start to build up some traction. That is what I have seen. They say like about pumping the well and it trickles. Don't stop pumping because eventually the water is going to flow. That is what's happened to my business from January to now. Every day I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's working. It's finally working. It's taken me 4 years for it to click and not give up, but I'm finally seeing the traction and the momentum. And so it's not letting up whenever you feel like things are going really good, because eventually we're going to we get those peaks and valleys. Another big one for me, show up every day, even when you don't want to. Share that you don't want to. For so long, I think I was trying to look too perfect on social media. And so when I would see people in real life, they'd be like, oh, well, I'm eating my ice cream cone, but I know you don't want any. And I'm like, hello, I love ice cream. I love donuts. I love tacos. Like, give it all to me. I like to eat. It's not about deprivation. So I try to share that. Of course, I like to follow my containers and I love my results when I do, but you all know we're not on a diet. And so what they shared at Summit I really liked and clicked with, and I kind of think I was doing that anyway, but it was nice validation. But it's find your 5, kind of the 5 things that are about you. So all 5 of our things aren't Beachbody. Fitness and nutrition is one of my 5 things, but it's not all about me. So my current 5, they can change too as seasons change because we're evolving and changing. My current 5 is I'm a mom and a swim mom. That is pretty much my life, but I'm more than just a mom. I'm a wife, but I'm often being a solo mom while my husband travels with his job. So I can relate to the single mom life. I love tacos and donuts and ice cream and mermaids. And I love to work out. I have favorite headbands. Usually when you see me post a sweaty selfie, I'm wearing a headband. I love them. I have probably 25 of them. And I am a runner-ish. And I love bargains. I love a good deal. And I love to find them at Walmart. So I know all of you I had to break up with Target because I was spending too much money. So Walmart is now my jam, and it's my next door neighbor. Other things for seasons, I'm a Florida girl. I love college football. I love Disney World. I live very close to Disney World. Soon it's back to school, so that's going to be a big part of my life. And my son plays baseball, so when that comes up, I'll also be a baseball mom, not just a swim mom. So, and utilize your stories. If they scare you, do them anyway. You're not going to be perfect, but if you find some consistency in your stories, I have met a lot of customers through my stories. I feel like people look at that more now than your actual post. So stories are a big thing. If you go on Instagram and connect Instagram to your Facebook, your stories will automatically go to your Facebook stories, which saves you a lot of time. So if you haven't done that, figure out how to connect them. Let's see. Inviting, you have to invite. People aren't just going to come to you. But don't make it so hard. For 2 or 3 years, I would sit at my computer and sweat about who I was going to invite. Oh my God, what are they going to say? Are they going to ignore me? If you start to look at who's watching your post and you engage with them, lots of people are liking them, but they're too scared to come to you, and they're waiting for you to invite them. My friend Jenny is on here, and we went to high school together, and I noticed we have a lot in common. We went to high school together. She's a nurse. She's a new mom. I understand her crazy nurse schedule, and I know that she was a cheerleader and she loved fitness, but life happens, and she would constantly like my stuff. And finally I reached out to her and I said, hey, and she watched me for a few months, and finally she's like, I'm ready. And now she's all in. Like, she's can't wait for Morning Meltdown to start. She's crushing her workouts. It takes people time. They're not going to say yes right away. They're going to say yes when they're ready and when they trust you. That's why we just have to show up every day. So don't make it scary. Reach out to the people that you see consistently liking your post or commenting. That kind of opens the door for conversation. If you do it in a nice way, in a genuine way, they'll either say thanks or no thanks, and then you just move on. So along those lines, keep a notebook or find a tracking system. There's Team Z, that is good too, and track your people. Personal development is the big one, and that's the one I avoided for 3.5 years. And funny how the last 6 months, my business has really taken a turn for the better. Since I've been doing personal development, we have to grow our brains, we have to grow our hearts. We can't just be growing our muscles. We're kind of the whole package deal, which is what's so great about our community. If you don't like to read, it doesn't make you any less of a person. Just listen on your drive to work, listen while you're folding laundry or cleaning the bathroom or rocking the baby to sleep. Whenever you can, 10 to 15 minutes a day is really substantial. It's good. And the last thing is recognition. We all love to be seen and we all love to be heard. I could do better about recognizing my people, but even if it's in your challenge groups, just shout out people who are doing a good job. I know I love it. It makes me feel good to know that other people are watching me. And so I need to do it for my people as well. So starting your challenge groups, starting your team page, then when you feel good, shout them out on social media or, on your main Facebook page. And my last pointer that I added last was put your blinders on. Don't look at all the shiny objects. They will distract you. If you miss Success Club, who cares? Let's think about the people that we did help that month. Just do the work and your business will grow. I am proof. So that's it, Kelly. Do you want me to wrap up and tell you where I am now?
Yeah, I just want to say, like, y'all, this is so good, and you've done awesome. So the whole,
Thank
like,
you.
I don't know, I'm so proud of you for, like, stepping into it. You know what I mean? Even though you're nervous, like,
yes.
And I love how when you decided you wanted to make a change, you laid it out in a sense of, what am I already doing well? So, like, you gave yourself credit because you were doing something well, and then and then baby stepping. Okay, let's get the finances in order. Okay, so it wasn't like, because I know for myself, I can be all or nothing sometimes and try to do all of it, and then I don't know what to start with. And I think, that process, that was just a huge nugget. Like, I think a lot of us, even with our challengers, to tell them, like, start with one thing if you need to start with one thing. Don't try to do all of it, too.
Because then we just get so burnt out. If I'm doing all of it but not very well, then it doesn't make me feel good, So I had to get those small wins under my belt and feel like I was making progress with myself. Like, one thing is easier to wrap your brain around than 10 things.
For sure. Angela asked a question about sharing everything from her IG page to your Facebook like page. I do, because I built my Facebook like page back in the day when that was the thing to do. But if you haven't built it, I would say share it to your personal.
Yeah, I don't have the like page, but if your Instagram is set up as a business Instagram, then it will go to your like page. I had mine as a business one, but I couldn't. My personal page is where I do all of my business. And so I have my Instagram as a personal page, not a business. And so that's connected to my personal Facebook page.
Yeah. That's what I think, unless you've got, like, a good following over there.
Right. For me, that was one extra thing that I didn't have the time for. And I felt like it was just one extra thing. So you can, and Rebecca, I know, built her business off of her personal page. She didn't make a like page until later on in her business. So
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, yeah, so why don't you go ahead and share like where you're at now?
okay.
If anybody has any other questions for it, go ahead and type them in the chat.
Okay. Um, so in March, when I was kind of ramping my business back up, I felt things about to hit the fan again. It was a very busy time in our swim life with championship season. My girls are very competitive. My oldest is really good, really fast. So she keeps us busy. My husband's job was very demanding. He was traveling 3 out of 4 weeks. And in March in the teacher world, it's a very busy time too. We have Mother's Day, Easter, like all the holidays. And I told my husband something's got to give. I love kids, but teaching is not my passion. It was never, I didn't go to school to be a teacher. I'm a nurse. And helping people feel better is my passion. And so, we talked about it, prayed about it, and he said, don't go back. And I agreed that my teaching was over. My son was finishing preschool, and so it was a good out for me. But I set a goal for myself, and I said, I've got to replace this teaching income that is buying our groceries every month with my Beachbody income. By the end of the summer, when I stop getting teacher pay, I have to match that. And I did that in the middle of June. So that was so exciting. I know. I was very excited to tell Rebecca that. So that's where the disclaimer, blah, 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 Beachbody doesn't guarantee. It's all about what you put into it. I've never had to say that before. So, and just don't sell yourself short, guys. Don't limit your belief. Don't let fear tell you what you are, what you aren't. That's God's job. He knows the plan he's laid out for you, and we have to follow him. And your story matters. It really does. I know way back when I first started, we used to do prayer devotional groups on here, and I would come on here and either cry or not talk. I know Angie would be in them, and Kelly would be in them, and I think Sarah was in them. And that's when I realized that my marriage being saved was a miracle, and I was worthy of that miracle. And if you are in a hard time, don't think God doesn't have you. He does. We're all worthy of his miracles, and you might not see it right away, but he's working on you. So share your story, share the not so good stuff, because eventually share the not so good stuff when you have a happy ending to go along with it, because people like to relate to that. We all know life isn't perfect. Even the highlight reel on Facebook, you got to be real sometimes too. So yeah, thank you. Thank you, Kelly.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. Thank you so much. Does anyone have any other questions that they would like to ask before? And then I'll say we usually pray a little prayer before we hop off. And
sounds good.
I know, I love that too, Angie, that we can do something where if faith is a part of our life, we can incorporate it.
Yes.
For sure. So, well, I'm gonna pray for us, and I just want to thank you again, and just say you did amazing.
Thank you.
Awesome job. I'll get the recording up, and I think this is something to share with coaches at any stage. I feel like it blessed me tonight to hear, and so thank you for taking the time to share with us, and for all of you guys being here tonight. Thank you for hopping on. So let's pray. Heavenly Father, I just thank you so much for Emily and her story. Lord, I'm grateful for the courage it took for her to share tonight, and I ask that you continue to bless her life, her marriage, her motherhood, and her business. Lord, I pray for our teams, the whole team family, The Rock and Freedom Family. Lord, I'm just grateful for the family tree that we were kind of grafted into, and this opportunity, and leaders that we get to work with and learn from, and the coaches we get to work alongside. And I just ask that you would help us be a light to one another, and to help us to encourage one another in our growth as we reach out and really try to change lives and serve well. And bless our families and take care of ourselves. God, there's so many pieces. And like she said tonight, like you have made us worthy of the miracles you have decided to work in our lives. Just help us to be open to them and help us to lean in together and to support one another as coaches in this family. And I just thank you for this opportunity, for this business, for this company that allows us to build a business from home and gives us the tools we need to lead the way you've created us to lead. And we give you all the glory in your most holy name, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you guys so much. I feel like we got to take a picture since I can put it on. Everybody else probably took one, but this is something to post on Facebook, right?
Yes. Tag me on Instagram.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you again. I hope you have an amazing
Thank you.
night.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.